The British government has suspended free trade talks with Israel over the country's expanded military offensive and the aid blockade of Gaza. It joins France and Canada in condemning Israel's conduct and threatening sanctions if it doesn't change. The British government has summoned the Israeli ambassador to express its frustration with the deteriorating situation.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to say something about the horrific situation in Gaza, where the level of suffering, innocent children being bombed again, is utterly intolerable. Mr. Speaker, over the weekend we coordinated a response with our allies, as set out in my statement with President Macron and Prime Minister Carney last night. And I want to put on record today that we're horrified by the escalation from Israel. We repeat our demand for a ceasefire as the only way to free the hostages. We repeat our opposition to settlements in the West Bank. And we repeat our demand to massively scale up humanitarian assistance into Gaza. The recent announcement that Israel will allow a basic quantity of food into Gaza, a basic quantity, is totally and utterly inadequate. So we must coordinate our response, because this war has gone on for far too long. We cannot allow the people of Gaza to starve.
Madam Deputy Speaker, we are now entering a dark new phase in this conflict. Netanyahu's government is planning to drive Gazans from their homes into a corner of the Strip to the south and permit them a fraction of the aid that they need. Yesterday, Minister Smodrick even spoke of Israeli forces cleansing Gaza, destroying what's left of residents, Palestinians, being relocated, he said, to third countries. We must call this what it is. It is extremism. It is dangerous. It is repellent. It is monstrous, and I condemn it in the strongest possible terms.
Well, that was the House of Commons overnight. I'm joined now by Ali Mamouri, who is an expert in Middle East studies and a research fellow at Deakin University. Good morning to you. How significant are the words there of the British politicians in the House of Commons?
Good morning, Lorna. It's a significant move. It was a public pressure and social demand for months in Britain to make some kind of pressure on Israel for ongoing conflict in Gaza. We know we had a ceasefire early this year, but and there was a clear agreement with a clear pathway toward freeing all the hostages and some of Palestinians prisoners as well. But it was Israel that suspended the agreement and started a new wave of aggression in Gaza, and also at the same time stopped the humanitarian aid to reach to Gaza people. So among this situation, it seems that there is some kind of shift toward imposing some kind of pressure on Israel to stop the aggression and to resume the ceasefire agreement.
Is it likely that the EU will follow suit as well, obviously as a much bigger bloc potentially has much more influence?
Yeah, of course. We already have an announcement from European Union that they not just suspended further agreement, they also suspended the already signed agreement for a free trade with Israel, which is more significant pressure on Israel. At the same time, also the Defense Department of Britain, UK also announced that they are suspending some military aid to Israel. At the same time, we know that US also creating some kind of distance from Israel still is not enough, but there is some clear indications. The President Donald Trump did not travel to Tel Aviv in his Middle East visit, and also in the ceasefire with Yemen, US did not include any clause about not attacking Israel. So that means Houthis attacking Israel is not a breach of ceasefire between US and Houthis.
Given all of that, though, the fact is probably that nothing will change until the US actually starts using words like this, the US administration. Have we reached closer to that point, do you think?
I think so, given all these circumstances, even from the US side, the ongoing conflict in Gaza is not beneficial for the President Donald Trump, for the US, for the West in general, especially at this moment that US made a significant deal with 3 countries in the Gulf, in the Middle East, and all of them are demanding ceasefire and peace agreement in Gaza. So the ongoing conflict will affect negatively all this positive relationship between US and the Middle East, and it will create unnecessary problem for US. It seems to me that we're gonna expecting some kind of more pressure from US to stop the new aggression in Gaza and go toward another wave of ceasefire and peace agreement.
History tells us that Israel ploughs on with the course that it wants to do under Benjamin Netanyahu. But will this, many people are talking of this as it's a loss of goodwill with what is happening with people starving in Gaza. Will the loss of goodwill of what were once their friendliest of neighbours and countries make a difference to Netanyahu, do you think?
We all already know that this war mostly is because of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu political career. If he stopped the war in Gaza and go toward the ceasefire and the situation will get solved completely, he will face the horrible situation in Israel for the previous corruption case and for several other military problem as well, for allowing this situation to happen in 7th of October 2 years ago and other related issues. So there is no any benefit even for Israel for going toward that. If the ceasefire agreement had been continued, we most likely have been seeing now freeing all of the hostages and going toward more positive relationship and more positive agreement toward peace probably in the future. So due to all of this, it seems to me that it's not likely to see all this situation continue for long.
Ali Mamouri, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.